Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're covering President Trump's press gaggle aboard Air Force One on October 30th, 2025, right after his major meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Let's get started. Trump opened by calling it an amazing meeting with President Xi, describing him as a great leader of a very powerful, very strong country. Trump said it was an outstanding group of decisions that were made, with a lot of decisions reached and not too much left out there. They came to conclusions on many very important points. On agricultural purchases, Trump announced that large amounts, tremendous amounts of soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately by China, starting immediately. He said President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which Trump appreciated as a very nice gesture. On fentanyl, Trump said they agreed that Xi is going to work very hard to stop the flow. Trump acknowledged it's a very complex subject because fentanyl is used for lots of different reasons, including anesthetics, but Xi is going to work very hard on it, including precursors. Based on Xi's statements, Trump reduced the tariff on China by 10%. So instead of the 20% tariff Trump had put on China because of fentanyl coming in, it's now 10%, effective immediately. Trump believes Xi is going to work very hard to stop the death that's coming in. Secretary Bessent clarified that actual fentanyl was scheduled by China in Trump's first term successfully. There are certain precursors that China will take whatever actions they need to control. President Xi was very strong in saying he was going to enforce those laws internally and take very strong measures against those that don't obey. Trump said they discussed most of the elements reporters ask about all the time, and he thinks they agreed to almost everything in a very acceptable form. He wouldn't say everything was discussed because some things in retrospect they could have discussed or didn't come up for some reason. On computer chips, Trump said they discussed chips, and China is going to be talking to NVIDIA and others about taking chips. Trump said he'll be speaking to Jensen from NVIDIA, and they're going to be discussing with NVIDIA to see whether or not they can do certain things. Trump said it's really between China and NVIDIA, but the U.S. is sort of the arbitrator or referee. When asked to clarify if it's the downgraded Blackwell chips, Trump said no, not the Blackwell that just came out yesterday, but a lot of other chips, and that's good for the U.S. Bessent added that there's so many chips already sent to China, including a lot of advanced chips. NVIDIA will talk to China and see what's possible. The Blackwell chips, of course, weren't discussed. They focused on export controls of China on rare earth, and China is going to keep those flowing, which is quite important. On rare earth minerals, Trump said that whole situation, that roadblock, is gone now. There won't be any roadblock at all on rare earth. That will hopefully disappear from their vocabulary for a little while. It's a one-year agreement that Trump thinks will be very routinely extended as time goes by. Trump and President Xi came to an understanding that China is not going to impose the rare earth controls that they proposed. On tariffs, Trump clarified that tariffs remain exactly the same except for the fentanyl reduction. It was 57%, now it's 47% because they reduced it by 10% for fentanyl. The variety of other tariffs still remain, including Section 301 tariffs and Section 232 tariffs. For some individual products, it may go up to 100%, but as a general matter, it's about 45 to 47%. Trump announced that he'll be going to China in April, and Xi will be coming to the U.S. sometime after that, whether it's in Florida, Palm Beach, or Washington, D.C. On the shipping fees and the 301 shipping investigation, Trump said they're going to postpone that while they negotiate with China about that issue. They're trying to rebuild shipbuilding, and the Koreans just agreed to invest $150 billion in shipbuilding, so that's no longer an issue. Trump noted they were conducting the interview in very rough winds over Asia, joking that it's a rough flight and people watching are going to say, he didn't look too good, he's got the shakes, but Trump said he doesn't have the shakes. People are just going to think he does because of the turbulence. On Ukraine, Trump said it came up very strongly, and they talked about it for a long time. Both leaders are going to work together to see if they can get something done. Trump said they agreed that the sides are locked in and fighting, and sometimes you have to let them fight. But Xi is going to help, and they're going to work together on Ukraine. Trump said Xi has been buying oil from Russia for a long time, and it takes care of a big part of China. They didn't really discuss the oil, but discussed working together to see if they could get that war finished. Trump said it doesn't affect China, it doesn't affect the U.S., and he doesn't like to see 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 young people, mostly young soldiers, be killed. On Taiwan, Trump said it never came up. Taiwan was not discussed, actually. Trump said, I thought it was a great meeting, a very friendly meeting, and a good meeting for two very large, powerful countries. That's the way they should get along with a large, powerful country. On nuclear testing, Trump was asked what prompted him to post on Truth Social about resuming nuclear testing right before the meeting. Trump said it had to do with others who seem to all be nuclear testing. The U.S. has more nuclear weapons than anybody and does not do testing, having halted it many years ago, but with others doing testing, Trump thinks it's appropriate that the U.S. does also. He said they have test sites and it'll be announced. Trump said he'd like to see denuclearization because the U.S. has so many weapons, Russia is second, China is third, and China will catch up within 4 or 5 years. He thinks denuclearization would be a tremendous thing, and it's something they're actually talking to Russia about, and China would be added to that if they do something. On Israel, Trump was asked if Israel gave him a heads up before they bombed Gaza, and if it's still a ceasefire. Trump said no. Israel had a sniper and one of their soldiers was killed, so they did retribution. He said, yeah, it is a ceasefire and it's back to ceasefire. Trump said on a scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being the best, the meeting was a 12. He thinks the whole relationship is very important and it was really good. Trump reflected on the successful trip overall, coming on the heels of signing a peace deal for Cambodia and Thailand in Malaysia, critical mineral deals with all their allies, and so many successful meetings. Literally hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars have come into the country over the last 4 days, represented by this meeting. Toyota is going to build plants worth $10 billion, and so many different companies are pouring money into the United States. Trump called it an unbelievable trip. Trump said every country they met with, Japan, South Korea, and so many others, are investing tremendous amounts of money in the United States, like money they've never seen before. President Xi congratulated Trump on the tremendous success because there's never been a country that has had so much money come into it for purposes of investment, building, auto plants, AI, etc. When asked to clarify if Xi committed to additional Chinese investment in the U.S., Trump said they didn't really discuss it specifically, but China has investments and will invest. On Kim Jong-un, Trump said they never were able to talk because he was so busy, and really this meeting with Xi is why they came. Trump thought it would have maybe been disrespectful to the importance of this meeting if they did that. So he'd come back with respect to Kim Jong-un. Trump said he had a great relationship with Kim and thinks if he didn't get elected and Hillary Clinton came in, who Kim doesn't like, that would have been a big war that could have been very bad. Trump ended by saying it was a great success and a great honor. Xi is a tremendous leader of a very powerful country, and Trump gives great respect to him. He appreciates the fact that Xi came for this meeting. As a final note, Trump said they had a very nice conversation with Canada last night. That's the summary of Trump's press gaggle after his meeting with President Xi. Major outcomes include China buying large amounts of U.S. agricultural products, working on fentanyl control with a 10% tariff reduction, resolving the rare earth minerals issue, and plans for reciprocal visits between the two leaders. Trump rated the meeting a 12 out of 10 and emphasized the importance of the U.S. China relationship. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.